Hi Big West. Today is day 11 of Bicsmas and I'm Sarah, back again. And I'm going to show you today some cinnamon stars which are gluten-free, dairy-free, and if you can work out some way to make the egg white icing aquafaba or something to that effect, you could make them egg-free too. So super easy biscuit. But what I like is that they are gluten-free, so a really easy one to do from that perspective. So let's get started. We've got 100 grams of raw sugar. I'll just put that in. And we're going to mill this down. Who likes to mill with the ferments or your spices, all your sugars, all your nuts and things into your meals for flour? They're really good grain saver. They're a great way to get rid of lots of additives and preservatives as well from your diet. So we're just going to sit that aside because this part of the sugar, this becomes your icing later on. And of course we all know, but then you've got your lovely icing sugar. So then next we're going to put in 300 grams of raw sugar. And we've got 2 cinnamon quills, so I'm just tipping out what's left over in the container, plus my 2 sticks. And we're going to mill this down as well. So it's just another 15 seconds. Then you're going to set this aside. I love that dust that comes up. Like, check that out. How impressive is that? I just love it. And the smell smells like Christmas because it's just cinnamon and sugar. It's just delightful. So I'm just going to tip that out. And you don't need to be too crazy because this goes back in anyway. But there is your beautiful cinnamon sugar, which the smell. We're now going to put in 500 grams of almonds. And you guessed it, we're going to mill those too. So now you're going to add your sugar and cinnamon back in. But first there's your beautiful almond meal. Like, how great is that? So, sugar, cinnamon, back in. And we're going to mix this for 15 seconds. And then we're going to add honey. But if you were doing these as a vegan biscuit, you'd just use maple syrup or something to that effect. We've got our beautiful big mix of our almond meal and our cinnamon and sugar. It wants 2 teaspoons of honey. As I said, you could use maple syrup or coconut syrup, something to that effect. And then we've got 2 egg whites. As I said, to make it egg free you'd have to work out either some linseed soaked in water or some aquafaba or something to that effect. So this is just 10 seconds on speed 5 to incorporate all of this. And then you're going to put it into a bowl and give it a light little knead by hand, just to bring it together finally. And pop your oven on. So you want your oven preheated to about 150 degrees. It's a bit like a bread dough down the bottom, so just give your blades a bit of a swizzle. So I've just set that aside in a bowl, but I'm going to keep going because the icing takes about 3.5 minutes to really form together. So we've got another egg white, and then we've got that reserved icing sugar that we made first thing. So it's 100 grams of icing sugar. And that's going to mix for about 3 minutes. So I'm just going to roughly work this one together. So I'm just kneading this dough, just lightly with my hands, just to incorporate it all together. You could knead it in the Thermomix, but I like the actual feeling of this one, and the recipe asks you to tip it out. And I'm a bit of a rule follower for some of these steps, but it doesn't take much at all. So that's just brought it into 2 bits, and I'm going to roll it into lots. So I'm just going to leave that one sitting in the bowl. You don't want to overwork it, so it's really nice to just do this part by hand. So there's the mix, as you can see, and I've just got some baking paper down in front of me. I'm going to give that a light press, and then I'm going to roll it out, and I'll tip the camera. I'll just wash my hands. Bring it down. So you want this rolled out to about 6 to 8 mil. So they're not a super thin biscuit or anything. The mix gives you about 60 biscuits if you're cutting them using a 3 to 4 centimetre star shape. But I'm not going to be using that today. I've got our Thermomix blades, and I'm going to use that instead. So just going to press them down. and just putting them down onto the baking tray. So you can see those. Make sure you press down nice and hard with your cutter. And I'll just keep joining this together and working this till we've got them all done. But so you can see, I'll move on to the next step, which is our icing. So you actually pop the icing on before you bake them. I can just find my pastry brush. So you just get your glaze and then paint that on. Seems funny icing your biscuits before you actually bake them, but paint away. And then you bake these in the oven for 12 to 14 minutes. Just put a bit more on that one. You want a nice, generous coating. So that's what they look like. We're going to pop those in the oven. And we'll see you in 10 minutes. Hi everyone, so I'm back and I have baked all my biscuits. It says it makes around 60 stars if you use a sort of 4 to 5 centimetre cookie cutter. I instead used our Thermomix Blades cookie cutter and I got about 25, give or take. We might have eaten one already, but this is what they look like. And this is what they come up like. So your biscuit is baked with the icing on the top. They're gluten-free, they're dairy-free, and they're really delicious. So they're a good one to use our star cookie cutter set for. You could make a really nice layered tree up out of it because your icing's already done as you've baked them. So super easy for that. They're called Cinnamon Stars. They're on Cookie Doodle in the UK, one of the Christmas collections from the UK. Make them. enjoy the 11th day of Bicsmas, and see you tomorrow for the last day with whoever's hosting that one. See you!